Later, sometimes with our second chief engineer, David Watson, there were microwave path surveys using the tools of the time, a compass and comprehensive forestry maps showing forest tracks and the locality details, most importantly, the major trees on every section of the map. These trees were marked with alphanumeric identification, cut into a scarf made by axe and then engraved with letters and numbers a couple of inches high. These were our only navigation, our GPS. Using our trusty Holden station wagon with limited slip diff to go anywhere, we located, visited and climbed Mount Solace, Mount Keats, Mount Leonard and other sites. Later this information was combined with our other tools, which were the contour maps and a 4/3 earth graph paper to plot microwave paths giving Fresnel zone clearances and trying to allow for tree heights. All in the aid of possible microwave transmission of programs to be retransmitted in the Bunbury area. This was never done, but later temporary links were used and tested for telethon links to Bunbury. Outside Broadcast 1, the design and construction and equipment and commissioning of a new OV band for Channel 7 was a breathtaking commission for me at the time, though I don't think the implication hit me at the time. First I looked at the requirements to house the 3 camera control units with monitors and the operators, the director and script assistant, the CCU operators and the audio console, and obtain some sort of idea of the space required. I then started to look for a space and cost-effective light truck in the 3 to 5 tonne range, and after looking at quite a few, the forward control Austins looked cheaper and gave more load space. After talking to Scarborough Bus Company bodybuilding and totalling equipment weight, the lighter Austin 2.45F looked okay. More detailed work on weights, heat produced, air conditioning requirements, I managed to sketch what might be possible on the scuttle and bare chassis of the 245F. This led to a body design which I penciled out and fitted the overall space and weight distribution requirements. Finally a quote, and at this stage the total estimate was only a fraction of fully equipped commercial units. It was full steam ahead. The Austin was purchased and delivered to Scarborough Bus, and their quote accepted to build the body shell with the insulation and pegboard lining and partitioning to the audio section. An air conditioner was selected for installation by the bodybuilder with a lift-up cover above the windscreen and lockdown screws for the compressor during transit to site. My work now started in earnest, and with Bert King, the building of a model and mock-up of the van was started in the prop area. The wooden frame to mimic the inside dimensions of the van was erected by the props department, and then I selected the uni-strut and proprietary do-it-yourself extruded aluminium desk framing with the bashed together joining and corner castings, and the desk started to take shape. Of course, these were to be later transferred into the van. I learnt to oxy-weld the uni-strut, and in practice of our metalworking and painting skills, Bert made me a dustpan welded and painted in pine blue, which I've brought along tonight. Thank you, Bert. The photos you are seeing show a little of the progress and go on to show some of the shots of the final product and some of the events and work it was used for before it went to SAS and then to Tamac for rebirth and a new life with Ross McDonald. Some uses you will see include the Inter-Dominion trotting from Gloucester Park, the cricket at the Wacker, football coverages, the main events for the Commonwealth Games in Perth 1962, the first Boeing 707 arrival at Perth Airport in late '62. Who remembers the swans in the forecourt of the airport? Or the Sunday afternoon drinks at the bar at the airport? Miss West Coast Beach Girl heats occupied a lot of use for the van. Miss Australia from the Parmelia, the Coronet Bowl. The first day we had a flood with rainwater entering the TV Zoom and filling it about a third full. I took it back to the office that night and disassembled it on the office desk and dried it out ready for reassembly and use in the next morning. This OB included borrowing an Ampex 2-inch backpack VCR and camera, with Greg Nixon from Ampex supervising its operation. Too heavy for long hours as a backpack, it was mounted onto a vehicle, I think a mini moke. Signs of the times. The props department made and painted 2 wooden boxes to be Craven A filter cigarette packets about 3 foot high, which were located on each side of the scoreboard. I still have those boxes in my garage, reincarnated as storage cupboards, with the front sliced off, the hinges fitted, shelves fitted, and fitted out with parts trays made by slicing the empty yellow plastic fluid bottles from our original photocopying machine. Yes, I was also involved in looking after the photocopier. There were too many other events to list or remember. I believe this van was as cost-effective an OB van as I have heard of, and produced some outstanding results. Did I hear somebody say it got B cot? Yes, no one told me of the radical derating required, with ambient temperatures rising up to 40 degrees Celsius, a lesson still not fully learnt with OB3. The OB camera dolly was a minor but pet design of mine, and I had it built by Avian. The photo shows Bert King and myself showing off the toy. If only it could talk, what stories could it tell? Videotapes were the next major step for the station and for television in the world, in effect. Purchase of the 2 RCA TR-1B 2-inch quadruplex machines, called machines because of the mechanics which made the record and replay possible. These were mind-boggling in complexity and size. 2 racks of power supplies, 3 racks of electronics including the transport mechanism. Still completely valve technology. Later at 7 we built transistor audio circuits to replace the original valve's audio section. In later time we added the TR3 play machine and the TR5 record-only machine. Facilities for manual editing, PixLock, time-based correction and GenLock. Removed the sync interruptions and distortions associated with the machine deficiencies and the changing from other material to tape and reverse. It's hard to come to grips with the magnitude of the change with the introduction of broadcast videotape recording. At last, high quality recording and replay, instantaneous compared video to film transfers previously used and only possible at some of the larger stations. In spite of the 7-second pre-roll required, head life and refurbishing costs were problems. Tape price was high and suppliers want a slice of the action. We want your business and we're prepared to pay for it, as emphasised by 3M taking all chief engineers to Sydney for a seminar on videotape performance and quality. I have with me tonight an Onyx cigarette lighter handed out on that week. Imagine the cost of fares and full accommodation for a week for 10 to 20 engineers. BASF were also trying with some tapes, shedding more oxide and having dropout problems.